What's up, guys? Welcome to May 4th as we dive into First Chronicles chapter 26, where it talks about the duties of the gatekeepers. These are the divisions of the gatekeepers. From the Kohathites, there are Meshelemiah, son of Korah, of the family of Abasaph. The sons of Meshelema were Zechariah, the oldest, Jediel, the second, Zabadiah, the third, Jethniel, the fourth, Elam, the fifth, Jehohanan, the sixth, and Hohana, the seventh. The sons of Obed Edom, also gatekeepers, were Shemaiah, the oldest, Jehozabad, the second, Joah, the third, Sakar, the fourth, Nathaniel, the fifth, Amiel, the sixth, Issachar, the seventh, and Palathiah, the eighth. God had richly blessed Obed Edom. Obed Edom's son Shemaiah had sons who, with great abilities, who earned positions of great authority in the clan. Their names were Othni, Raphael, Obed, and Elzabad. Their relatives Elihu and Samakiah were also very capable men. All of these descendants of Obed Edom, including their sons and grandsons, 62 of them in all, were very capable men, well qualified for their work. Meshelemiah's 18 sons and relatives were also very capable men. Hosa of the Merari clan appointed Shemrai as the leader among his sons, though he was not the oldest. His other sons included Hilkiah the second, Tabaliah the third, and Zechariah the fourth. Hosa's sons and relatives who served as gatekeepers numbered 13 in all. These divisions of the gatekeepers were named for their family leaders. And like the other Levites, they served at the house of the Lord. They were assigned by families for guard duty at the various gates. Whether regard to age or training for aid was all decided by means of sacred lots. The responsibility for the last gate went to Meshelemiah and his group. The north gate was assigned to his son Zechariah, a man of unusual wisdom. The south gate went to Obed Edom, and his sons were put in charge of the storehouse. Shepim and Hosa were assigned the west gate and the gateway leading up to the temple. Guard duties were divided evenly. 6 Levites were assigned each day to the east gate, 4 to the north gate, 4 to the south gate, and 2 pairs at the storehouse. Each were assigned each day to the west gate, 4 to the gateway leading up to the temple, and 2 to the courtyard. These were divisions of the gatekeepers from the clans of Korah and Merari. Treasurers and other officials. Other Levites led by Ahijah were in charge of the treasures of the house of God and the treasures of the gift dedicated to the Lord. From the family of Libni in the clan of Gershon, Jehiel was the leader. The sons of Jehiel, Zatham, and his brother Joel were in charge of the treasures of the house of the Lord. These are the leaders that descended from Amram, Ishar, Hebron, and Uzziel. From the clans of Aram, Shebuel was a descendant of Gershom, son of Moses. He was the chief officer of the treasures. His relatives through Eleazar were Rahabiah, Jashiah, Joram, Zechri, and Shalomoth and his relatives were in charge of the treasures containing the gifts that King David, the family leaders, and the generals and captains and other officers of the army had dedicated to the Lord. These men dedicated some of the plunder they had gained in battle to maintain the house of the Lord. Shalomoth and his relatives also cared for the gifts dedicated to the Lord by Samuel the seer, Saul son of Kish, Abner son of Ner, and Joab son of Zariah. All the other dedicated gifts were in their care too. From the moment of Issachar came Kenaniah. He and his sons were given administrative responsibilities over Israel as officials and judges. From the clan of Hebron came Hashabiah. He and his relatives, 1,700 capable men, were put in charge of the Israelite land west of the Jordan River. They were responsible for all matters related to the things of the world, things of the Lord, and the service of the king in that area. Also from the clan of Hebron came Jeriah, who was the leader of the Hebronites, according to the genealogical records. In the 40th year of David's reign, a search was made in the records, and capable men from the clans of Hebron were found at Jazer in the land of Gilead. These were 2,700 capable men among the relatives of Jeriah. King David sent them to the east side of the Jordan River, and put them in charge of the tribes of Reuben and Gad and the half-tribe of Manasseh. They were responsible for all matters related to God and to the king. Chapter 27, Military Commanders and Divisions. This is a list of Israelite generals and captains and their officers who served the king by supervising the army divisions that were on duty each month of the year. Each division served for 1 month and had 24,000 troops. Jeshabim, son of Zabdiel, was commander of the first division of 24,000 troops, which was on duty during the first month. He was a descendant of Perez and was in charge of all the army officers for the first month. Dodiah, a descendant of Ahoah, was commander of the second division of 24,000 troops, which was on duty during the second month. Mikloth was their chief officer. Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, the priest, was commander of the third division of 24,000 troops, which was on duty during the third month. This was the Benaiah who commanded David's elite military group, known as the 30. His son Amizadad was his chief officer. Asahel, the brother of Joab, was commander of the 4th division of 24,000 troops, which was on duty during the 4th month. Asahel was succeeded by his son Zabadiah. Shammah the Israelite was commander of the 5th division of 24,000 troops, which was on duty during the 5th month. Ahara, son of Ikash from Tekoa, was commander of the 6th division of 24,000 troops, which was on duty on the 6th month. Halaz, a descendant of Ephraim from Palan, was commander of the 7th division of 24,000 troops, which was on duty during the 7th month. Sebekai, a descendant of Zerah from Hashah, was commander of the 8th division of 24,000 troops, which was on duty during the 8th month. Abiezar from Anathoth in the territory of Benjamin, was commander of the 9th Division of 24,000 troops, which was on duty during the 9th month. Maharai, a descendant of Zara from Netapha, was commander of the 10th Division of 24,000 troops, which was on duty during the 10th month. Benaiah from Parathon in Ephraim was commander of the 11th Division of 24,000 troops, which was on duty during this 11th month. Halad, a descendant of Othniel from Netapha, was commander of the 12th Division of 24,000 troops, which was on duty during the 12th month. Leaders of the tribes. The following were the tribes of Israel and their leaders: Reuben, Eleazar son of Zachary; Simeon, Shaphtiyah son of Micah; Levi, Hashabiah son of Kemuel; Aaron the priests; Zadok; Judah, Elihu a brother of David; Issachar, Omri son of Michael; Zebulun, Ishmael son of Obadiah; Naphtali, Jeremoth son of Ezriel; Ephraim, Hashiah son of Azaziah; Manasseh west, Joel son of Padaiah; Manasseh in Gilead east, Iddo son of Zechariah; Benjamin, Jasiel son of Abner; Dan, Azriel son of Jerahim. These were the leaders of the tribe of Israel. When David took his census, he did not count those who were younger than 20 years of age, because the Lord had promised to make the Israelites as numerous as the stars in heaven. Joab son of Zariah began the census but never finished it, because the anger of God fell on Israel. The total number was never recorded in King David's official records. Officials of David's kingdom. Asmaveth son of Adael was in charge of the palace treasures. Jonathan son of Uzziah was in charge of the regional treasures throughout the towns, villages, and fortresses of Israel. Ezri son of Caleb was in charge of the field workers who farmed in the king's land. Shimei from Ramah was in charge of the king's vineyards. Zebda from Shempham was responsible for the grapes and supplies of wine. Bahana from Geder was in charge of the king's olive grove, and Hana from and sycamore fig trees in the hill countries of Judah. Joash was responsible for the supplies of olive oil. Shetrai from Sharon was in charge of the cattle on the Sharon plain. Shaphat son of Adlai was responsible for the cattle in the valleys. Obil the Ishmaelite was in charge of the camels. Jahdiah from Meronoth was in charge of the donkeys. Jaziz the Higrite was in charge of the king's flocks of sheep and goats. All these officials were overseers of King David's property. Jonathan, David's uncle, was a wise counselor to the king, a man of great insight and a scribe. Jehiel the Hakmonite was responsible for teaching the king's sons. Ahithophel was the royal advisor. Hushai the Archite was the king's friend. Ahithophel was succeeded by Jehoiada, son of Benaiah, and was Abiathar. Joab was commander, and by Abiathar, Joab was commander of the king's army. Chapter 28. David's instructions to Solomon. David summoned all the officials of Israel to Jerusalem, the leaders of the tribes, the commanders of the army divisions, the other generals and captains, the overseers of the royal property and livestock, the palace officials, the mighty men, and all the other brave warriors in the kingdom. David rose to his feet and said, "My brothers and my people, it was my desire to build a temple where the Ark of the Lord's covenant, God's footstool, could rest permanently. I made the necessary preparations for building it, but God told me, 'You must not build a temple to honor my name, for you are a warrior and have shed much blood.' Yet the Lord, the God of Israel, has chosen me from among all my father's family to be king over Israel forever, but he has chosen the tribe of Judah to rule. And from among the families of Judah, he chose my family, my father's family, and from among my father's sons, the Lord has pleased to make me king over all Israel. And from among my sons, for the Lord has given me many. He chose Solomon to succeed me on the throne of Israel and to rule over the Lord's kingdom. He said to me, 'Your son Solomon will build my temple in its courtyard, for I've chosen him as my son, and I will be his father. And if he continues to obey my commands and regulations as he does now, I will make his kingdom forever.'" Now with the Lord as our witness, with God as our witness, and in the sight of all Israel, the Lord's assembly, I will give you this charge: be careful to obey all the commands of the Lord your God, so that you may continue to possess this good land and leave it to your children as permanent inheritance. And Solomon, my son, learn to know the God of your ancestors intimately. Worship and serve him with your whole heart and a willing mind, for the Lord sees every heart and knows every plan and thought. If you seek him, you will find him, but if you forsake him, he will reject you forever. So take this seriously. The Lord has chosen you to build a temple as a sanctuary. Be strong and do the work. Then David gave Solomon the plans for the temple and its surroundings, including the entire room, the storerooms, the upstairs rooms, the inner rooms, the inner sanctuary, which was the place of the atonement. David also gave Solomon all the plans he had in mind for the courtyards of the Lord's temple, the outside rooms, the treasures, and the rooms for the gifts dedicated to the Lord. The king also gave Solomon the instructions concerning the work of the various divisions of priests and Levites in the temple of the Lord. And he gave specifications for the items in the temple that were to be used for worship. David gave instructions regarding how much gold and silver should be used to make the items needed for service. He told Solomon the amount of gold needed for the gold lampstands and lamps, and the amount of silver for silver lampstands and lamps. Depending on how much each would be used, he designated the amount of gold for the table on which the bread of the presence would be placed, and the amount of silver for other tables. David also designated the amounts of gold for the solid gold meat hooks used to handle the sanctuary meat, and for the basins, pitchers, dishes, as well as the amount of silver for every dish. He designated the amount of refined gold for all the altar of incense. Finally, he gave him a plan for the Lord's chariot, the gold cherubim, with whose wings were stretched out over the ark of the Lord's covenant. Every part of this plan David told Solomon, was given to me in my writing from the hand of the Lord. Then David continued, be strong and courageous and do the work. Don't be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord God, my God, is with you. He will not fail you or forsake you. He will see to it that all the work related to the temple of the Lord is finished correctly. The various divisions of priests and Levites will serve in the temple of God. Others with skills of every kind will volunteer, and the officials in the entire nation at your command. Oh, that was the end for today. That was the names were so hard to read. I felt like though with the preparations that David did for Solomon, I really like, because it's like it shows like sometimes we can like rush into like what we want to do, right? But there are some preparations ahead of time that we need to prepare for before doing something that we like, doing something that we want to do. And so that could include in our own life. It's like whatever, like what like if you're looking forward to doing something right now, what do you think are the steps? What do you think you have to do so that you will be successful in the future? Or like what do you think God wants you to do in preparations of what you want to do at the end, you know? It takes a lot of like craftiness, creativity, and like a lot of patience to be able to do all this before actually doing what you want to actually do. So like with David, he assigned all kinds of people so that when he dies, Jonathan would be in good hands and stuff. If God puts you in a certain situation, meaning if he puts you in like a certain job, or you happen to be in a certain job, maybe do it in a grateful attitude, grateful for the opportunity, grateful, and then try to do it as a way to honor him in what we do. Even if this is kind of what I told my schools, I told my janitors at school. It's like yes, their work may seem to be like very unimportant at large from like a world perspective, but like from God's perspective, their work is very important, because like with them keeping the school clean, they're able to help students to learn better in a cleaner environment. And obviously there's like other things, but it's like showing like trying to encourage people to, no matter how important or unimportant your job may seem from the worldview, if you do it for the glory of God, may you know that that God smiles upon you, saying, "Great job, my faithful servant." Right? It's like that's all God is asking of us, is to glorify Him. I don't think He really cares about what kind of job we have. I mean, obviously, you don't want a job where you're like going to do sinister things, but like, you know, it's like trying our best to glorify God in everything that we do. No matter what job positions that we may have, it's really important. It shows our like dedications to God. It shows our patience, ability to be patient for something better to happen and stuff. And also to show like, can we be content with where we are, like with what job we may have, or do we need to go get another job and things. So yeah, I like how David says, be strong and courageous and do the work. Don't be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God, my God, is with you. He will not fail you or forsake you. And so yeah, with that being said, may you guys go in love with God.